You or your children might have sang this. Maybe you just heard it in a movie or saw a toy playing its tune. Chances are you came across at least one of these songs, but not all is what it seems, especially when it comes to these ones. This is top 10 children's songs that are not what you think. Number 10. Up and Down the City Road. Much debatable, but believed by many that the song is actually about drinking. Why? Because in Cockney slang, weasel meant coat, while eagle might refer to the Eagle Tavern in North London. So it is possible, however it is uncertain, that popping a weasel would be pawning a suit, all in order to have extra cash for a drink. Number 9. Georgie Porgie, Pudding and Pie. This one is often misrepresented, so I decided to explain it. Some suggest it's about George Villiers, who was supposed to be King James I's gay lover. It's also suggested that version of the song with When the Boys Came Out to Play was about George being hunted by husbands of women he used or forced to sleep with, hence the making them cry. However, George was apparently assassinated in 1628 in a pub by a disgruntled army officer, but song appeared in 1840, so why the gap? Because it wasn't him. It was George IV, the Prince of Wales, who in fact loved to eat, drink, and it's rumored he fathered several illegitimate children he didn't want to acknowledge. This nursery rhyme not only mocks a gluttonous prince, but possibly also mentions his mistresses that were left pregnant. Number 8. Here We Go Round the Mulberry Bush. Here is a joyful prison song. Wash or you'll die of a disease. It's believed that song originates from female prisoners at Her Majesty's Prison Wakefield, who would exercise around a mulberry tree during the moonlight. The hygiene part of the song most likely refers to unsanitary conditions of the prison, which would often cause outbreaks of diseases. Ground part of the facility was so low that it would be exposed to dampness and floods, making things that much worse. Number 7. She'll Be Coming Round the Mountain. What's coming? End of days. Song is about second coming of Christ and rapture. She, mentioned in it, is a chariot which Christ is going to drive. Like many spirituals that originated in the African American community, this was probably a coded anthem for the Underground Railroad. Number 6. Goosey Goosey Gander. One suggestion is that it refers to priest holes, hiding places for Catholic priests during the persecutions under King Henry VIII. After the creation of the Anglican Church, there were many Catholic priests who refused to become Protestants. That's why they would need to hide to pray, because when discovered, the priest would be forcibly taken from the house, hence thrown down the stairs, punished and even killed. No geese here, just priests being murdered. Number 5. Jimmy Crack Corn and I Don't Care. Called Jimmy Crack Corn or Blue-Tailed Fly is definitely not a light song. It's about a slave following his master on a horse, charged with keeping a blue-tailed fly away. However, he fails, causing the horse to buck, which throws his master off and kills him. Later in the song we read that the slave won't be charged because it's decided by the jury that the fly caused the death. Now, whether corn in this case means a skull being cracked open or it actually means Jim Crack Corn, spelled with G-I-M, meaning cheap corn whiskey, and the slave celebrating death of his master is unsure. One way or the other, it is a song about slavery and death. Number 4. London Bridge is Falling Down. London Bridge is Falling Down, My Fair Lady, or London Bridge, well-known rhyme with earliest mentions of it being from around 17th century. There are few concepts what is the actual meaning behind it. 3 being most common ones. It simply is about the age and damage done to the bridge, a Viking attack, or human sacrifice. Combining the way the game is played and the last explanation doesn't make it any better. The most common way is that 2 players hold hands and make an arch with their arms while the others pass through in a single file. The arch is then lowered at the song's end to catch a player. This could be a metaphor for what immurement is, also called immuration or live entombment, which is a form of imprisonment, usually until death, in which a person is sealed within an enclosed space without exits. A number of cultures have tales and ballads containing it as a motive, Idea was to make the construction stronger and survive longer. Number 3. Jack and Gill went up the hill. As per usual, we don't know what it means for sure, but there are a few interpretations. Most poetic one, suggested by S. Baring Gould, is that the rhyme is related to a story in the 13th century Icelandic Gill finding, in which the brother and sister Hugi and Bill were stolen by the moon while drawing water from a well, to be seen there to this day. Another is that it describes events in the village of Kilmersdon. When a local girl became pregnant, the putative father is said to have died from a rockfall, and the woman afterwards died in childbirth. The local surname of Gilson is therefore taken to derive from Gill's son. Most interesting one is that Jack and Gill are Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette, who were relieved of their heads, which would be Jack losing his crown and Gill following soon after. Number 2. Mary Mary quite contrary. This may or may not be correct, since no proof has been found that the rhyme was known before the 18th century. That's important because Mary I of England and Mary Queen of Scots were contemporaries in the 16th century. However, if it was indeed known before that, then explanation is quite horrible. Mary in this rhyme, being Mary I of England, ruled during the country being divided between Catholics and Protestants. Her wish was to make England Catholic, contrary to what people wanted. So she ended up executing thousands of Protestants. Silver bells and cockle shells were actually names of torture devices, and pretty maids all in a row would most likely be women burned at a stake, or the sole reason of being a Protestant. Number 1. Ring around the Rosie. This must be the most infamous one and my top pick. It might have meant something else in the beginning, but in time, new meaning got associated with it. While most likely in its original form it was referring to pagan myths, there is an explanation suggesting that it refers to the Great Plague which happened in England in 1665. Peter and Iona Opie, the leading authorities on nursery rhymes, remarked, "The invariable sneezing and falling down in modern English versions have given would-be origin finders the opportunity to say that the rhyme dates back to the Great Plague. A rosy rash, they allege, was a symptom of the plague, and posies of herbs were carried as protection and to ward off the smell of the disease. Sneezing or coughing was a final fatal symptom, and all fall down was exactly what happened." The line "ashes, ashes" might refer to cremation of the bodies, the burning of victims' houses, or blackening of their skin. That's it for my top 10 children's songs that are not what you think. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then subscribe and leave a comment with your suggestion for the next video. Any input is much appreciated. Take care.